Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the beautiful Emily, Dani, and Bridget, Linda Froemming. How you ladies doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very, very well. Bridget, did I say your last name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay. If not, I was gonna say you're okay. You can beat the hell out of me. So, before we talk about the reason why you ladies are here, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. I was lucky enough, DJ Remark hooked me up with you guys. You are the two lead actors in the Hellgate coming up, with Emily playing Stacy and Bridget playing Lillian. Now, again, before we get started on why you're here, I want to talk about the Hellgate a little bit and some of the things that come along with that territory. So I'm going to start with you first this time, Bridget. How did you get involved in the film? And what is a little bit about the film that you could tell us that's spoiler free?
Okay. So essentially, for those of you who don't know, this film is about kind of like a general overview: metal music, horror movies, ghosts, paranormal. And
My normal Friday night.
Right. Yes, exactly. A normal Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday night. I had a bunch of people sending me this casting call. And, I was kind of ignoring it. People do that pretty often. And I normally don't have time to sit down and, analyze everything. But the same one kept coming into my inbox. And I finally read the description, and it said, blonde girl who likes metal music, horror movies, and paranormal. And I was like, okay, I need to submit for this. Because once I read that description, I knew that was me. I go to fucking dive bar concerts every weekend. I'm at arena concerts twice, sometimes 3 times a month. I watch horror movies. I grew up on them. I love ghost hunting, all of that shit. So once I saw that, I knew I had to submit, and then I submitted, and now here we are.
That's so rad. And what about you, Emily? We know that obviously you are one of the counterparts to the film. How did you get involved, and what's your excitement level being a part of this production?
So my involvement is actually a crazy funny story. So me and my friend Tasia, we were, hanging out, having some wine, Chinese food, doing our like once a week like hangout thing, and we are kind of just scrolling on our phones. We seen that there was a casting call for somebody making a movie in Jacksonville, and we kind of were like teasing, like, who would want to make a movie here? It's so small, there's like nothing to do. And we're like teasing, and about 3 glasses in, she's like, apply. And I'm like, okay. So I did. And I guess I had a secret talent for this kind of thing, because I went in and they loved me, and they were like, you're Stacy, offered me the role right out the rip. And I was like, this is actually happening. And so me and my friend Tasia, we kind of like laughed about it. We were like astonished, but I am like so excited to play this character. Like, the more like I read the script and I was like, why is this me? So I'm super excited to play this character. I'm super excited to be involved. Like, I feel like this is gonna blow up. Like, it's good writing. It's good.
Yeah. And like I said, DJ, I've been able to work with him a couple different times. Love him to death. Great guy. So I'm very excited that you guys had the opportunity to work with him. Is this your guys' first time working with DJ, or?
Yep.
First time.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are very lucky. He's a very, very good dude. I'm very lucky to have had many conversations with the guy, and I'm very excited for you guys. And a way that you guys can stay up to date on all this, I have Emily and Bridget social media links down here in the description. So make sure you are following them so you can stay up to date on everything that they have coming up, not only with the film, but with all the other things they're going to be doing. Because this may be the first time you've heard of them. I promise you it won't be the last. They have a lot of cool shit coming up that you're going to want to be a part of and follow along with. So make sure you're clicking the links down here in the description and following them on all their social media pages. Now, in order for you ladies to be in a horror film, horror had to start for you somewhere. So now what I would like to do is go back to the past and talk about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And I'll start with you first this time, Emily. Your first horror movie was?
Oh my gosh. Like, I was 7 years old, okay? And my babysitter threw on House of Corpse. When I tell you I haven't slept right since, No, that was a rough one. That was a rough one. But honestly, I got a little bit older, not so afraid of the dark anymore, and I was obsessed. Like everything, like Scream, It. Like I was watching all of the oldies, like not even a teenager. Like if my mom caught me, like I think I'd get my butt beat. Like it was bad. But yeah, Cannibal Corpse, I think it came out a long time ago. But I was 7 when I seen my first horror movie, and The House of Corpse. I still gives me shivers. Like that was awful.
Your phone cut out for a second. Did you say that your first was House of a Thousand Corpses? Is that what you
Yes.
said?
Yep.
Okay, it cut out a little bit, so I couldn't hear. I just wanted to make sure that I heard it correctly. And I also want to add on to that. Jesus fucking Christ, what a crazy way to start your horror life.
I know.
Like, holy shit. That's like, hey, I can't swim. Cool. We're going to drop you out of this helicopter into the middle of the ocean, and you can figure it out from there.
It was, bro, it was so rough. Like, my babysitter at the time, we called her Boo Boo, and I can't even remember her real name, but we called her Boo Boo. And I'm telling you, she had it out for me. And like when I had dreams about me like running down, because we had like a really long hallway growing up. I had dreams of me running down the hallway as fast as I could and just being stabbed in the fucking back. Because that scene where they're in the corn maze and the girl is just like stabbing him in the back, I'm like, yeah, she scarred me for life. That was a rough one, but yep.
I do want to say real quick, Boo Boo, whoever you are, wherever you are, I love you. Thank you for what you've done. Because without you, we may not know the Emily that we know today. So thank you, Boo Boo. And now, Bridget, what about you? What was your first horror movie?
Oh gosh, I got started kind of in the horror paranormal vibe because my mom is obsessed with ghost adventures, ghost hunters, finding Bigfoot, like all of the sci-fi investigation Discovery Channel shows. But we were never allowed to watch them. I grew up on Barbie movies and Disney original movies and stuff like that. And one time I remember we were upstairs in my first house, me, my older sister, and one of our best friends. And we turned the channel and one of those silly paranormal shows came on. I think it was like The Haunting or something. And we sobbed because we were so scared. But while I was sobbing, I just remember thinking, oh shit, I kind of like this. I was probably like 11 or 12, so a bit older. And then the next weekend, kind of like the same situation as Emily, I was staying over at a friend's house. Her mom was watching us. And my mom had instructed her, if anything scary comes on, change the channel. And she instructed us to call her if anything we weren't supposed to watch came on the TV. And then Sleepaway Camp came on. And at first, that's not a scary movie. You know, it's just a bunch of young people going to summer camp. And there you are in a scary movie. And then I love how you're like,
I was staying over at a friend's house. I don't quite remember her name. I think it was Boo Boo or something like that. But
yes.
Then we ended up watching.
It was actually Emily's babysitter was the mom.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's how I know Emily.
Mom.
And Sleepaway Camp's another one that, to me, I think that while Friday the 13th is probably from the 80s the most well-known camp slasher, I think Sleepaway Camp is the example of how to do it right.
Yep.
I think that Sleepaway Camp is, and what sucks about Sleepaway Camp, and I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here, is the ending. And I'm not saying the ending sucks because of what it is. I'm saying the ending sucks because it's so goddamn good that people forget how great the rest of the movie is. Like the whole movie is fantastic, and it gets overshadowed. Oh, remember the end? You know, it's like, yeah, I remember the end, but do you remember the part where the guy gets, you know, the hot boiling corn cob water poured on him?
Oh, poor guy.
So I mean, like, I love the movie so much, and I'm gonna stay with you this time, Bridget. We know that you were watching it over at a friend's house at a young age, but do you remember which scene it was that affected you the most from Sleepaway Camp?
The boiling water scene. That poor guy. I remember seeing that, and I didn't cook. I was 11. If I cooked, I was making toast, and it never occurred to me that you could hurt someone with boiling water because I'd never been near it. And once I saw that poor guy get the boiling water dumped all over him, I was like, holy shit, this is real. Because that's not pulling a gun on someone. That's using what you
Right.
have right there.
But
And
to be
this poor-
fair, the guy was totally a pedophile. So, I mean,
yeah,
there
he
is
deserves
that.
it, of course.
Right. Now he's as ugly on the outside as he was on the inside.
Of course. Right.
That's funny.
It's so painful though.
It is when you're watching him with his hands up and he's got the blisters all over him. You're just like, ooh, that's fucking rough. And it's funny because Sleepaway Camp confused the hell out of me as a kid. And for those of you that have seen it, you know why. But there were so many scenes in Sleepaway Camp that I did not. The curling iron scene, I was like, she's got a curling iron and it's in the shadow. And then the girl's doing this. What's happening? So come to find out later, she was, shoving it up the girl's vagina.
It's not gonna kill you. It's not.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, it's a terribly excruciating scene to watch when her hands go up in the air and the shadows. Terrible. So,
yeah.
What about you, Emily? We're talking about House of a Thousand Corpses. Very, very scary movie. Very bloody, very graphic. But what would you say your favorite scene from House of a Thousand Corpses would be?
I don't remember the movie at all, except when there's a woman running through a corn maze and then she gets stabbed in the back. And that is like the scene itself has haunted me for years. When I tell you I had nightmares about running down my long hallway and getting stabbed in the back, like that was traumatizing. So like I actually brought this up to one of my friends not too long ago and I said, do you know that movie with like where they're running, da, 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 and I'm like explaining like scenes, and he immediately said House of a Thousand Corpses, and I was like, is that a Rob Zombie movie? And he said, yeah, that's really old. And I'm like, bro, we should take a trip down memory lane and like rewatch this. And he was like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, oh my god, Boo Boo knew what she was doing, dude. Like she knew what she was doing. Like I was 7. Are you serious? She should be in jail.
I need a shirt, however, that says Boo Boo knew what she was doing. Like, I need a shirt that says
Bridget,
that.
order them right now.
Right, immediately. And I do gotta say real quick, you are totally making me feel geriatric. Because you're like, this old movie, and I was 7, and you're like, I was watching the oldies like Scream and It. And I remember like watching Scream in the theaters. I'm over here like, these damn kids, they're young.
Get
damn
off
focal
my
bird.
lawn.
But what's amazing to me is I'm obviously quite a bit older than you ladies. I'm 37, and I'm talking to. Oh no, I'm not saying I'm old. I mean, like, I don't need prune juice yet or anything, but I just think it's amazing that I have, people that are much younger than me that are still so much in love with the horror genre, like, because when I was young, like you talked about Scream, and Scream to me is kind of that barrier. Like Scream is like the Green Day, Blink-182. What they did for punk rock is what Scream did for horror movies, and it made horror movies cool. It made them acceptable. We didn't have a lot of that, when I was young. When I was a young boy, we didn't have a lot of the cool horror stuff. You were weird if you liked horror other than October. So it's definitely cool to see you guys be so into horror. It's really special to me. So I started with you last time, Bridget. So this time I want to start with you, Emily. I don't know if have you seen the whole trilogy of House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects? Have you seen all 3 of the films, 3 from Hell?
It's very scattered, but yeah, I mean, like I've seen a ton of horror movies, but I'm telling you, Boo Boo scarred me for life. I blocked out a lot of my childhood. So like I've seen it and I could probably remember scenes of it, but like scary movies were my shit back in the day. Like I would binge everything. So I would say yes. I would say yeah.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking is because with it being part of a trilogy, whenever we have, films that are part of a franchise or trilogy, I always ask, I know you said you don't remember much about them, but do you remember which one of the 3 was your favorite?
Damn, that's a hard one. I mean, because Rob Zombie, bro, he's sick in a good way. Like he's sick. So like, I don't know which one I liked more or the one that made me the most ill. Like,
Right.
they're all pretty good. I love Rob. So I mean, Devil's Rejects is up there. Up there.
Yeah. And like I said, these are all movies that come from the mind of a guy that is very twisted, which, and if you actually have a conversation with Rob Zombie, extremely intelligent man.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
very intelligent, very well spoken, very well read. But he's a horror fanatic. And I think that it really comes out in his work. I hate when I say like, oh, the guy's a freak. I don't mean like a literal freak. I mean like he's a freak of nature with his writing ability.
The way he thinks and like comes up with this shit. It
Exactly.
reminds me of, have you ever seen that McKinney Manor? Dog. That's who Rob Zombie reminds me of. The guy who owns that house. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I could never.
Like people like because I've known people that have tried to do it. Like they can waterboard you there. They can sexually assault you. Like they can do whatever they want to you. And it's just like,
and people really think they're fucking dying. Bridget, do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I actually had one of my friends try to go through the house, but she had to tap out like within 5 minutes because she cannot finish.
Right. I mean, you got to sign like a 58-page waiver before you even go in. Like that's insane to me. And it's funny because I love horror movies. I'm a big horror movie fan. I've been a big horror movie fan since 1986. Like that's just who I am. I fucking hate, and I mean I hate haunted houses. What? I hate them so much. I'm like, I see you. Don't jump at me. I know you're right there. Don't do it. And then they jump, and I'm like, we just had a deal, bro. Like we just had a verbal agreement. You will be hearing from my lawyer. No, I wouldn't.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I don't like haunted houses. It's just something that's never appealed to me. I love horror movies. Like I could watch horror movies all day long. It's my life. Horror movies and baseball. That's my whole life. But I don't like being scared without a movie. You know, like I don't like that.
I think I'm with you there because like so it's like being cold. Like I think cold is comfortable. I don't like being cold. I think it's the most miserable feeling in the world. But like, so I like scary movies, but I don't want to be scared.
Right.
Like, I don't like that feeling. It makes me feel sick. Like if
a movie scares me, like if a movie scares me, I'm good. We just recently, and I don't want to go again. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but if you guys haven't seen the movie The Dark and the Wicked, it came out in 2020. It's a Shudder original. It's called The Dark and the Wicked. Again, I thought I was desensitized. Like nothing scares me anymore. I watched this movie. I was terrified watching this movie. I was like, this movie is genuinely scaring me. There's not a lot of jump scares. There's just a lot of like creepy builds and real horror. And it's a fucking fantastic movie. So I can't recommend it enough. But
I wrote it down. We're watching it, Bridget. We're watching
it.
I'm over
and right afterward, you have to text me and let me know. Like, Ken, that was dope, or Ken, you're fucking geriatric. That movie sucked. So Bridget, I do want to bounce you for a second. I talked to Emily about, the 3 from Hell trilogy, essentially, in the Rob Zombie trilogy. But right now in Hollywood, remakes, requels, sequels, reboots, that's kind of all the rage. People are all about the remake, the reboot right now. Is Sleepaway Camp a movie that not only you would like to see remade today, but with the culture that we live in today, do you think that there would be an ability to remake this today?
Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a good one.
I'm going like a full fucking, existential on you, but
I know, I'm like, holy shit. I feel like since, we're in a much progressive culture right now, which I think is fantastic. The ending always raises some questions of whether or not that would be accepted, because the way they painted the ending made it seem bad. And I don't necessarily.
He was forced into this. This wasn't something that Angela Baker chose for herself. This young boy was forced to become, to go as a woman by his insane aunt. So
but
I agree with
you. He's crazy, and I always hate seeing people, like minorities, being painted in a crazy way, or in a way that makes them seem like the villain, the murderer, the horrible person. I feel like there could potentially be possibility for a reboot if it's done maybe differently. Obviously, that's such a big part of the storyline. You can't take that out. But maybe if it's done in a way that is respectful and doesn't offend anyone, but still pays homage to the original film, that could be good. Obviously, we can do a summer camp film any day of the week because everyone does it. There's definitely means to do it, but you know, we have to be PC about it. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see one. I always love seeing reboots. Most of the time, I don't like them, especially if I've seen the original first. But I think, yeah, I would like to see one. Maybe we can make one.
We should reach out to them and ask if we can star in it.
Yeah, just email them.
There you go. You know, it's funny because if you watch the bonus features, and I'm a huge fan of behind the scenes special features and stuff. When they were filming the movie, for about 8 seconds, they were floating the idea that Felissa Rose, this 14-year-old girl, would be nude in this scene and wearing a dildo. And her mom was like, no, absolutely not. So what they did was they made that mold of her face, you know, the iconic.
Yeah.
And the guy that was going to be wearing it, again, people, we have changed now. He got cold feet and he didn't want to do it. And he was crying and nervous. So their answer was to get him really drunk. Like, oh, you don't want to do it anymore? That sucks. Drink this moonshine and we'll talk to you in 10 minutes. You know, so
I mean, he had a right to be scared. I mean, the world we live in nowadays, like everybody's recording everything. Everybody gets offended about everything. I mean, with good reason, I agree, but there are some people that take it a little too far. So, I mean, I can understand.
Every side has its extremists, and the extremists are what make the people that are more middle ground seem like douchebags. So I completely agree with what you're saying. Like I said, I have a daughter that is LGBTQ plus, and I couldn't be any more proud of her. I would rather my children be who they are and be happy than be someone that they think I want them to be and be miserable. Exactly. And that's a message to anybody out there. If you are afraid of being who you really are, reach out. There are people out here that will help you, that will hold your hand through the way. If you feel like I said, I could be a complete stranger. Maybe it's easier for you to take comfort in somebody that doesn't see you every day. So if you are out there and you are feeling that need to be who you really are and you're scared to talk to somebody, there's always people that are willing to listen. I just want you to know that.
And that's why we need a Sleepaway Camp reboot.
Yes. I volunteer to be the counselor with the really skimpy shorts and the belly shirt. I volunteer.
Yes,
I'm like the chick from the Hunger Games right now. Like, I volunteer for tribute. So I've had an amazing time talking to you ladies about your first horror movies. And right now what I want to do is I kind of want to throw a little bit of a curveball here at you for a second. I started with you last time, Bridget. So you're going to get to cheat this time. And you're going to get to think about your answer. Emily, you not so lucky. So we've talked about your first horror movie and what that means to you. But now, Emily, my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Emily?
God damn.
You know what's funny? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
That actually gave me chills. Like, bruh, okay. I have to recoup for a second.
While she's recouping, wait, Emily, sorry.
What?
I just want to say Emily is like talking about how she's traumatized and everything, but she lives on a scary house on a lake down a dark road, and she's sitting here talking about how, you know, House of a Thousand Corpses traumatized her for life. But I've been to her house and I am terrified anytime I'm there, and I don't know how she lives there with all of this trauma.
Listen, dude, okay, so backstory, I was recently diagnosed with PTSD. So I mean, I find the light in these situations when I like start being like a hypochondriac. I'm just like, ha, you know, whatever. But like the new Scream is coming out, dog. Like I am so fucking stoked for it. But like ever since I've seen the come out for it, I have been so paranoid. Like, so if I could show you around my house, so I have
windows.
My whole wall over here is windows. My whole wall over there is windows. And I don't have any curtains because the natural light looks so pretty in the daytime, right? I am scared shitless to be here by myself. Like, and then you walk out my patio, there's a pool, and then there's a lake, like a lake. Like, you can drown somebody in there, and you can die and hide a body in there. It like my house, you could shoot a scary movie here by itself, like
Sure.
by itself. And it's so funny because the other day I like peeked out my door because I like heard a noise, but I have 2 cats, and I'm like, it's Ghostface. It's
It's
Ghostface.
Ghostface.
It's Ghostface. So yeah. Anyway, I'm like rambling, but my favorite scary movie, what is Hush?
Oh,
Ooh.
Hush is for sure a horror movie.
Well, I was doing Jeopardy. What
Oh,
is
okay.
Hush? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog, Hush is it. Hush is it. Like that's hands down my favorite movie ever. Like that's it.
Mike Flanagan is my favorite director.
Yes.
There's nothing that Mike Flanagan has done, and I'm talking about whether it's The Hill House on
Mhm.
Netflix, you know, the Oculus, I think was great. I've said numerous times that the sequel to The Shining, Doctor Sleep, is the best sequel of all time. I think it's hands down. I put it above Aliens. I put it above Terminator 2. I put it above The
Really?
Empire
I
Strikes Back.
mean,
I think Doctor Sleep is the best sequel of all time, hands down. It's just
yeah.
fucking. The story is great. You got Rose the Hat, who's an amazing villain. You got Abra, who's this amazing, amazing young portrayal of heartache, and she's just so amazing. And then you've got Dani Torrance, so you've got your.
Yeah.
But you can watch Doctor Sleep having never watched The Shining, and it will all make sense to you. So, yeah. So Mike Flanagan, kudos to you, my friend. You are a goddamn genius. So, well, you got to cheat a little bit.
Flanagan
Go
is
ahead, Emma.
like dog. Like, I mean, the way he describes certain things that happen, like the Hush, for instance, the way he's like in that girl's head and he's like describing the things, like I'm like, bro, give me your imagination. I would be the best fucking astronaut. Like, I can run really fast in these shoes. Like,
That's
dog.
awesome. I can run really fast. If you don't believe me, ask my hallway when I was a kid.
Right.
So,
Boo.
like I said, Bridget, you got the chance to cheat a little bit. So Ghostface, hold on, she's here.
He's gonna
What's your
change the
favorite
question.
scary movie, Bridget?
Oh, I thought you were gonna change the question.
No. What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh gosh. Well, it's actually funny because I do love Hush, and in our callback, we did virtual callbacks for the Hellgate, and of course, DJ asked what our favorite movies were, and I mentioned Hush, and we had a whole conversation about Mike Flanagan. Pretty much everything you just said. Halloween, but that's kind of basic. I want to say Reanimator, but then you're going to ask me questions about it, and I'm not going to know how to answer it because I haven't seen it in a while. But that one is really good. I really do like Reanimator. I want to say The Innkeepers by Ty West. I really like Ty West, his older stuff. I liked X, but it wasn't what I was expecting. But I like all of his older stuff, like Sacrament, House of the Devil, stuff like that. I love the slow burn horror. And when I saw Innkeepers for the first time, I cried.
You are gonna love The Dark and the Wicked if you love slow burn, scary horror. I'm telling you. The guy that did The Dark and the Wicked, Brian Bertino, he's also the guy that did the first Strangers movie.
So and they're doing a reboot.
Yes, so there's a lot of amazing storytelling in this movie as well. So I said it at the beginning, guys, but we are at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, all of Bridget and Emily's social media links are down in the description. So make sure that you're following them on social media so you can stay up to date on everything they have coming up. Now, before I let you ladies go, I always go back to the same question. I started with you last time, Emily. So this time, Bridget, I'm going to start with you. And what we're going to do is we are going to rank your first horror movie on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking it on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. What we're doing is strictly ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So we're talking about Sleepaway Camp, Bridget. 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. What would your ranking of Sleepaway Camp be?
So would a half skull be like the mouth, or would it be like half of the eye and the mouth?
We'll go with the mouth.
Okay. I asked that, but I know the answer is 5 skulls. And there's actually, it doesn't necessarily have to do with my first viewing, but I just recently did a series of horror feature films, and my character was actually named after Felissa Rose. All of the characters in the film were named and inspired by other horror icons. And, Felissa, she's still working today. And I definitely think she's an icon. So that was kind of like a full circle moment for me. I played this character named Felissa, super campy 80s style horror slasher flick. It's a trilogy that's coming out soon. And that for me was kind of like yes, Sleepaway Camp started my career. And now here I am playing a character named after the star of Sleepaway Camp.
That's fucking, if that's not fucking dope, I don't know what is. Congratulations on it. That's really, really cool.
Thank you.
So what about you, Emily? House of 1,000 Corpses, 0 skulls, like I said, being not effective, 5 being extremely effective, half and quarters anywhere in the middle, and we have to establish they are lower quarters. So what would your ranking of House of 1,000 Corpses be?
I mean, if I was rating it as the kid when I watched it, it'd be 5. I don't know, rewatching it, what my score would be now, today. Like, obviously, we're braver and, we're not so naive, like all that. So, like, I don't know what my rating would be today, but then it was a 10 out of 10.
Well, I'm saying we got 10 drop jaws right now.
Yeah.
So it's very, very exciting. I am just very, very happy that I got to talk to you ladies about your first horror movies, what these have meant to you. I'm very, very excited for the Hellgate. I can't wait to see what you guys have coming up for us in the future. So please don't go anywhere, ladies. I got a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. We really appreciate it. Make sure you follow Sledgehammer Horror on our social media as well. We'd love to have you along for the ride. And until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.